I'm a robot. I'm more patient than you.
He's so happy to be able to stop the robot.
True, not all dinosaurs were monsters. Some dinosaurs could be compared size.
At the end of each day's work as a tour guide, Sage emails Hila with an account of how things went.
It says, I gave 15 tours today, Hila, and my happiness level is at 95%, my frustration's at 5%, and I'm a little lonely.
A little lonely? Well, how do you use that information?
We play with the way it behaves with people. So we actually play with its affection, the way it interacts with people. We'll change how frustrated it makes itself sound. We'll change how noisy it is when it's lonely.
Then you check and see if further interaction with people makes it a happier machine?
Exactly.
And do you want a happier machine?
We love happy machines because the way it gets happy is with good interactions with humans.
Hila foresees robots you can relate to not just in museums, but throughout society. And he's not alone.
Oh, very good. Hello, good morning.
It was also created at IS Robotics.
I'm sorry, would you just say that again?
The company had recently been founded by Rodney Brooks.
It's not going to say much.
It was able to react to things like people getting too close to its infrared detectors with a caricatured human response.
It opens its mouth in utter surprise.
Yeah, and it raised its eyebrows. It's sort of got this reaction of, oh, what's happening here? Get away from me.
It was one of the first attempts to give robots an appealing, if somewhat exaggerated, appearance of being human.
It tries to appear to be a human so that we can interact with it in a way that's like a human.
This idea has now found its fullest expression in a robot called Kismet being brought to synthetic life in the same MIT lab that Cog inhabits.
These robots, like babies, are going to seem especially appealing to us. I mean, we spend a lot of time with babies.
Absolutely.
Because we can't resist them.
Kismet's expressions, ranging from boredom to happiness to sadness to interested, are deliberately over the top.
It's very much a caricature to make it that much easier for you to read the robot, so that when it looks happy, it's obviously happy. When it looks sad, it's obviously sad.
Yeah.
And you kind of go, oh, I did something to upset it, I should do something else to make it happy. So it's really trying to get you involved at this kind of unconscious emotional level. Oh, yeah, look at that. You like it now.
Cynthia spends long hours in front of Kismet as she works on giving it the ability to recognize objects and react with its cartoon-like response.
Oh, there you go.
And her willingness to invest the effort is itself a demonstration of the goal of the research, to make people want to help their robots so that robots can more easily learn the ways of humans.
Oh, you like that.
The idea is that one day Cog himself will have a Kismet-inspired head, so that its human companions will treat him like an endearing, if somewhat clunky child.
So sad when I take away your toy.
Right now, Kismet can make facial expressions but can't recognize them. That's Cynthia's next task. But it's one she believes Kismet itself will help with. Facial expressions are so subtle. So how can you tell whether I'm smiling or I'm making an angry look?
This is the nice thing, is that when parents interact with young children, this is another reason why to build a robot infant, we have very exaggerated behavior. We're leveraging off of that. You know, if you're dealing with an adult, you know, I might smile a little, but I might look, shift my gaze and so forth. But it's very subtle cues. When you're playing with an infant, you're very exaggerated.
Yeah.
Your face is exaggerated. Your intonation, you're going, oh, you're such a good robot. You know, everything is so exaggerated.
Such a good robot.
Exactly. That it's making the perceptual problem for the technology much easier than it would be if we were trying to interact at a human level.
So you're counting on that behavior.
I'm trying to pull it from you.
Yeah, I see.
But one thing's been nagging at me all during our encounters with robots that their makers describe as happy or frustrated or surprised. What's really going on in these machines is that little computer programs are running that enable each robot to appear as if it's feeling.
I mean, if it makes faces and changes expressions, we'll read stuff into that. But how can it possibly have a base from which to be surprised, for instance?
Right, this is the really deep question, I think. Whether we can make the machines really, really, really be surprised, really, really, really understand, or just appear to be surprised. That's
How can they possibly feel? I mean, what would represent feeling?
In principle, I think we're machines. You know, we're made up of lots of little mindless atoms and molecules which work together and they produce this behavior. Now, some vitalists might say that there's an elixir of life inside us, or some people might say there's a soul. But as a scientist, fundamentally, I think we're just machines. Now, I don't treat you like a machine.
Not so far.
I'm willing to treat Cog, because Cog doesn't have it. But you have it.
That gets right to the point of it.
Right.
You can take Cog apart and put him back together again.
Right now,
you can't do that to me.
Well,
you take me all apart.
Surgeons can do a lot of...
Yeah, but you take me all apart. You take all those little parts you talked about.
Right.
And try to put them back together. There's going to be something missing.
Well, that's how we think right now. But suppose we get these robots to the point where they really make me feel as comfortable with them as you make me feel comfortable. Have all those social cues, have all those social interactions. And then at the same time, I'm able to take them apart and put them back together. What does that say about us?
Let's say you can do that. Let's say you can get a machine to give every indication that it's feeling stuff. So what? What will that do? Will that just make me more comfortable with my computer, or what will that do? How will that change the world?
I'm interested in understanding what it is about us which makes us human. What aspects? I'm trying to do the reduction, which science always tries to do the reduction. When science looks at chemical processes, we try to break it down to the simplest things. This is my attempt at trying to break down what it is that makes us human into simpler components to therefore understand it.
Think of yourself as the mother duck. Now you're the mother duck. Okay, so
I haven't played that part before.
What's more, I suspect the robot ducklings know it.
It's crawling up my leg. Yes, I hope you can explain this.
There's a very large gap between these two sonars, and when an object is at precisely this angle, the robot has a lot of trouble sensing it.
Look at this. They just keep standing on my feet. What is he doing? What do you want from me?
They want you to move.
At the University of Southern California in Los Angeles, Maya Moderich and Barry Werger are trying to get robots to behave like animals that live in social groups. Ducklings, for example. My status as mother duck is conferred by the orange tube taped around my leg.
He's still sensing me, isn't he? Now, what is it, the little camera on top that's
yes. The camera sees your leg, sees the orange. And it says, "Mommy, I'm lost in the grass."
While the camera is looking for me, the sonar on each robot is checking for obstacles. What's amazing is that while the programs Barry has written for the robot's computers are very, very simple, the robot's behavior is anything but.
Look, he went around the tree and found me again. This is really good. Is he tuned in primarily to the camera, so he's trying to find the camera?
This part of the robot, the consciousness that's trying to find your leg, is completely independent from the part that's trying to avoid the obstacles. And they actually kind of battle it out inside the robot's brain to decide who's going to take control of the robot. So the priority always goes to the obstacle, because that's the danger. When something's in its way, it always does what it takes to not hit something. And then if it's not actively avoiding something, then it goes towards the object of desire.
You might ask why we do it this way. Why don't we just put one big program the way people traditionally do, or traditionally used to do in robotics? And the whole point is that we're being biologically motivated. So in biology, we know that the brain is distributed and there are collections of drives, some very, very old drives, like run away from anything that's attacking you, or go follow the mother. And that's exactly the drives we're modeling here.
Many living things act collectively, cooperating to achieve tasks like getting food. In this experiment, Maya and her students studied different ways a group of robots can collaborate to gather up hockey pucks as efficiently as possible.
That's the queen bee. She takes care of just the home region, and they take care of the rest of the world. And see, they're doing a good job. There's almost nothing left.
Again, like the robot ducklings, these mechanical bees are following very simple rules. Among humans, soccer is a game in which simple rules and brilliant technical skills can combine to produce dazzling complexity, as if the team shares one big mind.
There he goes.
A few years ago, a small group of robot researchers began arguing that getting robots to play soccer would be what Maya likes to call the grand challenge.
It was not at all widely accepted. People said, "Oh, this is just fun and games. What's soccer? Big deal. You just move around, kick the ball." Turns out it's really, really hard. And it's hard for two reasons. because at the low level, you have to find the ball, kick the ball, you know, survive at a very, very fast clip. That's very hard. So robotics cannot do that yet. And then at another level, you have to have strategy. You have to interact with your team, figure out who should do what so that you win.
Speed and strategy. Those are the keys to success in robot soccer. And few groups have done more to achieve them than the research team at Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, headed by another of the originators of robot soccer, Manuela Veloso.
Shoot again, shoot!
One of the stars of CM United is their goalie. Trying to beat it gives me the chance to learn some of the secrets of the team's success.
How is this working? Does that little guy have eyes in his head somehow?
No, that actually the robot does not have any eyes. There is a camera that is overhead and sees the whole field.
From the video image, the computer extracts the position of the ball and any robots on the field. It then predicts from the movement of the ball its current direction and speed, indicated by the length of the line. The computer does this 30 times a second, fast enough to cope with all